Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, well, what am I here with? The 4,000th video. Now, this is not actually the 4,000th video. I'll never get it right. The 4,000th video, there we go, actually happened this past week. At some point, we've surpassed it already. But the reason I like to do these talks periodically when we hit milestones, and I think 4,000 videos is certainly one of those, is to just note some of the things that are included in this channel that maybe you don't notice all the time. Because, one of the things that really sort of gets to me is that I know I'm going to do a video, something, I might hate it, I might love it, we might have a great time talking about it, then it vanishes into the heedless maw of YouTube, and maybe no one's ever going to look at it again. And that really sucks, because some of these things really matter. So I wanted to just take a moment to talk about one of the playlists on this channel. There are over 150 or 60 or 70 playlists, some large number of that, packed with juicy content for your delectation. And in this case, I want to talk about great neglected works, composers and works. There's a playlist. That's what it's called. In fact, let me make sure that's what it's called. It's called Great Neglected Composers and Works. Yes. And so you can search for it, or you can find it pretty easily on my channel homepage. This particular playlist has 525 great neglected composers and works, enough to keep you very, very busy. I mean, if you do just one a day, you're up to almost 2 years worth of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot here. And some of these things are chats about multiple works. So there's just lots and lots of great neglected composers and works. And it always astonishes me, that the classical music canon is so small when there is just so much terrific music out there. I mean, really, that's one of my big goals, is to talk about lesser known works. And I know a lot of you join me in that, because you're looking for new experiences and things that the rest of the universe hasn't heard of constantly. And they're marvelous. So I just want to mention a few of the things that are in here. I'm at random scrolling through these 525 videos. 7 fabulous modern harp concertos. Oh, I loved that one because I'm a sucker for harp concertos. That was really fun. Don Gillis, a master of musical humor, wonderful composer. Toscanini's manager. He was the orchestra manager, actually, for the NBC Symphony, and he wrote wonderful works, including a symphonic poem about Toscanini, which has never been recorded, and I'm dying to hear it, maybe someday. Thomas Tallis, Spem in Alium. Now that's sort of a cult piece. The 40-voice Renaissance motet for 8 5-part choirs, which is just one of the most remarkable pieces of music and absolutely glorious. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, George Lloyd. Well, now I'm doing a whole thing about George Lloyd. He's starting to make his move, maybe, because all of his works are being reissued in an edition, and hopefully he'll start to get the attention he deserves. I'm talking about his Symphony No. 5, that particular video. Oh, let's see. What else have we got here? C.P.E. Bach's Hamburg Symphonies. Whoa, those are super cool. Absolutely cool. What happens when a commissioner, in this case the Baron von Swieten, says to him, do whatever you damn well please, just write music. And he actually has an opportunity to do it. And that's kind of amazing back in the days when composers had to write to order, and they didn't have the freedom of not having to worry about an audience or sales or anything else. So those are amazing works. The Zany Schoenberg, 3 orchestral arrangements, his weird concertos based on Baroque music, his cello concerto, his string quartet concerto, and then, of course, there's the Brahms piano quartet arrangement. That's the other thing. Really, really fun. I mean, he goes nuts on that music, and he makes it so Schoenbergy, not harmonically, but in terms of its hard-edged and weird sonorities. It's just kind of totally cool. Oh, Isotaro Sugata, the world's most derivative composer, a Japanese composer who spent most of his career evidently imitating Western models in a very flattering way. It's a fun record. It's on Naxos. And again, you can just look at these, the playlist, and you can find all of these things. I'm only looking at the first, oh my goodness, only a few tens of listings down out of 525 videos. Let's see. The strikingly bold music of Einar Englund, the great Finnish composer, is absolutely marvelous and is as good as unknown. 5 expressionist operas for a rainy day. Oh, those were fun. All kinds of crazy stuff there. Charles Koechlin, Magician Orchestrator, a wonderful release on Hensler. All right, I'm going to stop now because we've talked for several minutes about this stuff, and you get the picture. That we've talked about 10 of them, and there are 525. So this has been one of the most amazing journeys for me, because we're about, 4 years old now? Yeah, 4 years old. And figure if I do 3 reviews a day for a year, it's about 1,000 reviews a year. So that's where we are. We're at 4,000 reviews. I should slow down. Some of you have begged me to slow down. There's so much to talk about. So much great music. So many interesting topics we can discuss. So many recordings that keep coming. 20 years ago, remember I wrote an editorial. If you follow ClassicsToday.com, I wrote an editorial about called Fine Wine from Storm and Norman, about Norman Lebrecht, who had his predicted demise of the classical record industry. And that was in the 90s, I think, or something like that. Well, no, it was after 99, it was early 2000s. But it was about 20 years ago. And, well, they're still coming. They're coming by the dozen. They're coming by the bucket load. All this stuff, and the box sets and the reissues. And then, of course, there's YouTube. There's the digital universe, which has just flooded us with musical performances of every type. Some of you have asked why, I don't review YouTube videos. Well, because I just don't have a chance. It's all I can do to keep up with the CDs. I mean, the hard product, the physical product, which is supposed to have disappeared, or even, digital downloads from major labels. It's still way, way, way too much to deal with. And for those of you who think I'm doing too much, why would you want me to do more by covering YouTube things? It's impossible. It's impossible. There was a time, and I've said this many times, back in the day when you had the Schwann catalog, which was this lovely little book that had the list of everything that was available. And everybody knew what was available because there was a limited number of titles, and they were limited to the extent that people who collected would know them. So you could have wonderful conversations about the existing discographies of particular works because we all knew them. And there was a community of knowledge, which I've tried to, rather controversially describe in my series on reference recordings, where there really was a group of people who knew, what the version of choice was, or the version of comparison was. Whether it was the best or not was another issue. And that was the model. And then all this other stuff came out. But then it all went to hell. And here we are. So I can't try to make sense of it in a larger sense by covering everything that comes out. But I can, I hope, make sense of this craziness by being selective, by choosing things that I think are worthy and mentioning the things that are not, and by talking about how to be a more critical listener, so that you can make choices, and you can make choices quickly. Quickly. You don't have to make yourself crazy about it. That's all part of what I'm doing. And for 4,000 videos, I think back on it, and it's very funny. I don't remember them. I mean, I remember them when I see what they are, but I don't remember making them. I don't remember spending the time. Somehow it all just emerges. And I want to thank all of you for joining me on this journey. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It's just been delightful and so rewarding for me, and I hope for you as well. And I hope we just keep it going for as long as we can, because there's just infinitely more to talk about. It's what Haydn said, his wonderful remark about music, how much there is still to be done by even a man such as I was. Speaking of himself in the past tense. So when I'm gone, there will still be much, much more than I've been able to cover, but I'm doing my damnedest to cover as much as I can until that time. Keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care.